So let's talk about one of the most important and frankly, most in-demand jobs in tech right now, the data engineer. Now look, you've probably heard all about software engineers, maybe even data scientists. But the data engineer? They're the hidden engine driving pretty much the entire modern tech world. Let's break down what they actually do.
Think about it. When you hear about all the crazy advancements in AI, what jobs come to mind? You're probably thinking of machine learning engineers, maybe data scientists, right? But what if I told you there's a foundational role, one that works behind the scenes that makes all of their work possible?
And yeah, you guessed it, that role is the data engineer. Think of them as the first domino in a long chain. Without them, the clean, structured, and reliable data that fuels every single AI model and business decision, well, it just wouldn't exist. Nothing happens until they do their job.
To really get why they're so important, you first have to understand the biggest challenge of our time. Every company today is a data company. I don't care if it's a massive tech giant or a little coffee shop with a loyalty app, they are all creating this absolute tidal wave of data, from app clicks, payments, user logins, support chats, you name it.
But here's the catch. This data is raw, and raw data is a mess. I mean, it's just unprocessed digital chaos. It's full of duplicates, missing information, totally incorrect entries. In this state, it's basically useless. You can't run an analysis on it, and you certainly can't train an AI with it.
So, who steps in to tame this digital hurricane? This is where we finally meet the data engineer. They are the architects, the civil engineers of the data world. Their entire job is to create order out of all that chaos.
And how do they do it? They build something called a data pipeline. Now, this isn't a physical pipe, of course. It's a really sophisticated system of software and processes that they design. Its job is to automatically go out, collect all that raw data from every source, scrub it clean, reshape it into a useful format, and then deliver it to a place where it's finally ready for action.
Okay, here's my absolute favorite way to think about this, the kitchen analogy. The data scientist, they're the star chef. You give them beautiful, prepped ingredients, and they create these amazing dishes, like an AI model or a deep business insight. But the data engineer, they're the kitchen manager. They design the entire kitchen layout, they source all the ingredients, they wash and chop everything, and they keep the pantry perfectly organized. The chef gets the glory, but without the kitchen manager, the chef is literally standing in an empty room with nothing to cook with.
All right, so we get what they do, but why has this job just exploded in the last few years? I mean, what's going on? Well, there are 5 huge drivers powering this whole trend. Let's get into them.
First up, and this is the big one, the AI boom. Every single AI model you hear about is absolutely ravenous for data. But not just any data. They need enormous amounts of clean, perfectly structured information to learn from. So the AI boom is creating a data engineer boom. You literally cannot have one without the other.
Second, the total takeover of the cloud. You know, businesses aren't keeping servers in a closet in the basement anymore. It's all moving to these huge, scalable cloud platforms like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure. And managing data in these massive, complex environments requires a very specific skill set, a skill set that belongs to the data engineer. Number 3, and we touched on this before, it's the fact that this isn't just a big tech thing anymore. Every business relies on data now. They need to track online orders, understand how people use their app, see what marketing is working. The more companies that generate data, the more people you need to manage it all. Simple as that.
Fourth, it's the need for speed. Business leaders are impatient. They don't want to report next week. They want a live dashboard showing what's happening right now. How many sales did we make in the last 10 minutes? What's trending on our site as we speak? To answer those questions, you need some seriously sophisticated real-time data pipelines. And guess who builds those?
And finally, reason number 5, it all comes down to the bottom line: money. Good, clean, accessible data lets companies make smarter decisions, and fast. They can spot trends, cut down on waste, and get a much better picture of their customers. Because data engineers make that possible, they have a direct impact on a company's success. That makes them a ridiculously valuable asset.
Okay, so the demand is off the charts, and the role is mission critical. But what if you're sitting there thinking, hey, this actually sounds kind of cool? Well, let's lay out a practical game plan for how you could become one.
So the absolute non-negotiable foundation of everything is SQL. It's the language you use to talk to databases, period. Once you have that down, you start to layer on a programming language like Python for building your own tools and automations. Then you'll need to really understand how databases work, get the core ideas of ETL and data warehousing, and finally, get comfortable with the basics of at least one major cloud platform.
Whoa, let's pause on that term, ETL, because this is the heart and soul of the job. It stands for Extract, Transform, Load. You extract the messy, raw data from wherever it lives. You transform it by cleaning it up and getting it into a standard format. And then you load it into its final home, like a big data warehouse, where it's all shiny and ready to be used. This little three-step process, it's their bread and butter.
The most important thing here is not to try and learn everything at once. That's a recipe for disaster. Just follow a logical path. First, build a rock-solid foundation in SQL. Then, layer on Python, understand databases, and then, and this is the most critical step, build a personal project that actually does that whole ETL thing. After that, you can add in the cloud basics and maybe one popular tool to round it all out.
Now, for maybe the most important question of all, is this the right career for you? Because not every tech job is for every person. So let's take a look at the kind of person who really thrives as a data engineer.
Honestly, this career is a perfect fit if you're a builder at heart. If you get satisfaction from creating systems, from working with back-end tech, and from automating things to make them run smoother and faster, you'll feel right at home. It's less about abstract theories and way more about solving real, tangible problems for a business.
And here's a huge takeaway for a lot of people. If you find the world of data fascinating, but the idea of advanced statistics and calculus makes you nervous, data engineering is a fantastic alternative to data science. It's an engineering job focused on building pipelines and systems, not on high-level mathematical modeling.
What's also great is that the career path is super clear and rewarding. You start out as a junior, learning the ropes and helping out on existing systems. Pretty soon, you're building your own pipelines. Then you become a senior and you start designing whole data systems. And from there, you can move up to a lead or architect role where you're setting the entire data strategy for the company.
And get this, the skills you learn are like a skeleton key for tech. A strong foundation in data engineering can be a launchpad into all these other amazing roles. Since you understand data from beginning to end, you're in a perfect spot to pivot to something like machine learning engineering, cloud architecture, or, even data science if you decide you want to pick up those skills later.
So, to bring it all home, the data engineer isn't just shuffling data around. They are building and maintaining the digital circulatory system of an entire company. They create the foundational infrastructure that allows everything else, from AI to business analytics, to even exist. Look, our world is only going to rely more and more on data. And the systems that manage, clean, and deliver that data are the absolute bedrock of everything that's coming next. So the only real question left is, are you ready to be one of the people who